This is Super Yacht News with Heesen. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It is Wednesday the 6th of April today. That is definitely the correct day today. And we have some breaking news, and it is that no less than 14 yachts were arrested today by the Dutch authorities. The Netherlands government has said 12 of the yachts are still under construction in various different shipyards across the Netherlands, and 2 of the vessels were undergoing maintenance, so they were completed vessels undergoing maintenance. Under the rules, the Dutch foreign minister said that the vessels cannot be delivered, transferred or exported under the sanctions, he added. So it's believed that the 12 vessels, which are still in build, as I said, are across the Netherlands: Feadship, Amels, Heesen and Oceanco. And like I said, 2 vessels are there for maintenance. The Dutch foreign minister, whose name I will not attempt to pronounce, but I'll put it on the screen, he wrote a 10-page letter to the Dutch Parliament today. And in that letter, he doesn't actually disclose who owns the yachts. And he said that the authorities were investigating the matter further, and the shipyards have been made aware of the sanctions. He said in the letter that the people linked to the yachts are not under sanctions, under EU sanctions lists. They're not on the EU sanctions lists, but the government was looking into the possibility of one yacht having connections with a Russian oligarch who has been sanctioned by the Union. So that is basically what it sounds like to me, is that the vessels have been arrested in place, and they're not allowed to be moved or transferred or delivered or anything like that until they can figure out exactly who owns these vessels. So that's big news. 14 yachts. I'm not sure whether they're all classed as super yachts, but that's a lot of yachts. As soon as I get more information on that, I will bring it to you. I don't have the names of any of the vessels. Obviously the ones in build won't have names yet. They'll have project numbers. The 2 that are completed, that are under maintenance, I don't have the names of yet. If you know the names of them, please get in touch. Let's move on. In the last video we talked about motor yacht Tango, and I said that the federal agents from the US, in conjunction with the Spanish authorities, had seized the boat. That was their word, and I said it was probably just arrested. However, I've been looking into this and reading the arrest warrant, and it turns out actually it's not an arrest warrant, but it's actually a seizure warrant. It was an application for a warrant to seize property subject to forfeiture. Now, I'm not an expert in legal matters in any way, but I'll try and break it down for you. And what I'll do is, the whole thing is there online for you to be able to read if you want to, if you so wish. So what I'll do is I'll put a link below this video so you can click on the link and actually read the thing if you want to, if you have insomnia or something, because it is quite long. But the short version is that what they allege is that between 2011 and present, Victor Vekselberg, who's the owner of motor yacht Tango, and his conspirators conspired to commit bank fraud, and in order to cause US financial institutions to process US dollar transactions. So basically, Victor Vekselberg was actually sanctioned in 2018. Since those sanctions were put in place, he's been still operating the vessel, and he's been using, from what I can understand from this report, or from this warrant, that he's been using third parties to enable him to pay money even though he was sanctioned, and the people that he was paying weren't allowed by the sanctions to receive that money. That's as far as I can understand from the warrant. The amount of money that is involved is, in comparison to the value of that vessel, is quite small, as far as I understand also. So it seems like an uphill battle for any team to try and prosecute this case. The team called the Klepto Capture, that's the name of the team that they've put together, the government has put together. He said expect long legal battles with Russian oligarchs. We should anticipate that extremely well-heeled litigants will take things to court, veteran federal prosecutor Andrew Adams said this week. We will be engaged in litigation that will take a while. So this kind of thing could go on for a long time. And what's interesting is what's going to happen to the vessel in the meantime, because this vessel is not like the other vessels have been arrested and just been held in place. This one's actually been seized. So it's going to be interesting to see what the authorities do with this vessel and how they look after it, because these vessels can't just sit there without any maintenance. They need constant maintenance. So that's going to be interesting in the long run. The Russians are pretty upset about all of these arrests and seizures, of course, and the former president and prime minister Dmitry Medvedev is calling it theft. And Medvedev says Russia will enter a lawsuit to get back the properties, intending to fight a legal battle with the US, Europe and international courts. Gotta get a big bag of popcorn, because that's going to go on for some time, I think. Alright guys, one last story before I go, and that's Andrei Guryev. He is the former head of Phos Agro. He's one of the world's 4 largest producers of phosphate-based fertilizers. He's been placed on UK sanctions today. Now, he was already under EU sanctions, but he's also been placed on UK sanctions today. Now, he is linked to and allegedly owns the following vessels: Yacht Alpha Nero. Now, Alpha Nero is an 81 meter or 266 foot vessel built by Oceanco in 2007. Now, that vessel disappeared around about the 3rd of March. They turned off AIS. It was last seen in St. Martin, and it kind of disappeared. And I'm not quite sure where that vessel is as of today. And then another vessel which he now allegedly owns is Yacht Luminosity. Now, this was a brand new boat that was built by Bonetti, and it was delivered in 2020. Now, this boat was cutting edge when it was delivered, and one of the things that it was touting as part of its cutting edge technology was the fact that it has 40 tons of lithium ion batteries on board, and it can use these batteries to sail during the night without using any combustion engines, and it can also sit at anchor for long periods of time just on battery power. And what is interesting about this is that any vessel that has lithium batteries, anybody who works with lithium batteries knows that they need a lot of care and they need to be looked after, right? They do tend to have something that Porsche calls thermal events with lithium batteries. So they are known to have thermal events, which is a posh way of saying fires. So a vessel like this, for the owner to be placed on a sanctions list, who owns a vessel like this, what has been happening is because of their assets have been seized, and also because of the companies that deal with them, the management companies are usually based in Europe, and they're unable to take money from them, even if their seized money isn't affected. The money that they use to pay their crew and stuff is not affected by the asset seizures. The management companies are not allowed to accept those payments to pay to the crew. So what often happens is the crew are all laid off, and it does concern me that a vessel like Luminosity could be in that situation where it's just left and there's nobody on board with all those batteries on board. Luminosity is currently in Montenegro, and so as far as I know, it hasn't been arrested, but Montenegro made a point when all of the sanctions started that they were going to follow suit with EU and UK sanctions, or at least the EU sanctions, but yet this vessel has been sat in Montenegro for some time now, and it hasn't yet, as far as I'm aware, been arrested or been sanctioned in any way. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I tried to contact the management company that looks after this vessel. Quite interestingly, I emailed the person who I understood was in charge of the management of the crew there, and I got no reply. And then about 3 days later, I emailed the same address, and the email address was no longer in use. So I got a failure message. So that's quite interesting too. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. What I will say is, if you have any information that you want to send to me, contact me through the About page on YouTube, and also you can contact me through Facebook Messenger. Unfortunately, I have to use Facebook Messenger these days. Please do not contact me through Instagram right now. I'm having some issues with it right now, and I'm not receiving any messages. So please don't use Instagram for the time being. I'll let you know if that when that is corrected. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye bye.